Hey, fellas, this is Chad. Welcome to Fins Up Talk. We're for the fans, by the fans, and to the fans. Uh, this is a podcast about just two guys that happen to love football, diehard Miami Dolphin fans, ready to talk to you guys about the topics that come on in our heads, the topics we assume that are going on in your heads, and then having somewhat of a therapy session to talk about our beloved Dolphins. So, again, my name is Chad. My confident co-host here, Juan. I'm going to pass it over to him to introduce himself, and we're going to get this thing rolling.
What's up, guys? So Juan over here, Dolphin fan since very long time, right? Since 2001. Very excited to start this podcast with you. Like Chad said, we're just two fans, right? This is our therapy session that we want to share with you. So glad you're joining along for the journey and hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, I love it, Juan. It's funny that we've been talking about doing this thing for quite a while now. We're finally going to do it, and this all stemmed from being Dolphin fans and having that's so Dolphin moment, and watching games, going over all of these different scenarios in our head of draft order, draft picks. Are we going to win it? The infamous in the hunt. It's something that I think is going to be special for us because you and I, we talk so much in text off the pod that it's going to feel like we're just going to allow the viewers to hear what we go through. And hopefully as they hear it and see it, it hits them in the heart. Like, I have those same thoughts. I have those same feelings. So really, really excited to do it. I know we're going to do a few different things here. I know we're even going to talk about doing a little live mock draft, which I'm super pumped about, and kind of going through it. Maybe two. We'll see how it goes. And then we're going to go through a multitude of topics before we have this Week 18 showdown in Foxborough, where hopefully we can play spoiler. But I want to kick this off by asking you a couple of topics. We're going to go through them. Then obviously we're going to talk about our draft at the end because that's going to take majority of the time. But there's a couple of topics that I want to ask you, Juan. Being a Dolphins fan for 20 plus years, as you've kind of alluded to, and for me, myself, I always say my mother must have been watching Dolphin games when I was in the womb because I came out saying fins up. So as a Dolphin fan, as a lifelong Dolphin fan, where are we at now as an organization?
So most teams, Chad, in my opinion, it's a little bit of a roller coaster. Unless you're the Patriots, right? You're just the trajectory for a very long time was just up. And then other teams, it's up and down, up and down. For the Dolphins, it's been this way, right? Not bad, not good. Well, yeah, mostly bad. Right? It's just we're stuck there. And I go back to Joe Philbin days when I used to argue with my friends. My friends, here in Miami, and they're fans of Steelers, Patriots, Colts, and I try to defend these Dolphins, and I caught myself. We're a 500 team, and I was defending them, saying, "Well, at least we lead the league in challenges, right?" That's what I had going for me. I couldn't really defend this team. It was just an average team, and it feels more like that this season after we were going in an upward trajectory there for a little bit where McDaniel had me, and maybe he's still that guy. I don't know, right? That game with Cincinnati, I know we talked about it and it left a bad taste in our mouth, but following week, he adjusts. Quinn Ewers has a great game. And you start to think to yourself, well, maybe there is something, right? Maybe we should give him another year. But right now, I'm just honestly, and I feel like most Dolphin fans feel this way. I'm just kind of like, eh, it is what it is.
Yeah. I think you bring up so many valid points. My where are we now is, and I think I told you this after week one against the Colts, that debacle before we knew the Colts were a playoff team. It was all evaluation mode for me. It was what players are here and are a part of the solution and will help us win, and who and what players are helping us lose and they're part of the problem. And yes, that kind of changed a little bit when we went on our 4-game win streak, but I think all of us as Dolphin fans, whether we're the highest of high Dolphin fans and optimistic, or we're the world's ending Dolphin fans and we think everything's going to like on Indian burial ground and everything else, the Tequesta curse and all of that, right? Whether we're those kind of fans, I think all of us kind of knew we're not making the playoffs. We love it, but
Yeah.
we knew. And you kind of mentioned being at this like steady line of mediocrity. I heard one podcaster say, I believe it was Neil Driscoll on Finside the NFL with Reason, and he said we're never bad enough to be the number one overall, but we're never good enough to be the number one overall in the conference. And it makes sense, and it brings me to where we're at now. We have one game left. We have Quinn Ewers in. I don't think anyone's saying he's going to be the next Brock Purdy, the 7th-round gem. Sure, would we love that? Yeah, great. But I think for myself, and I know you and I have talked about it, a win for a 7th-round quarterback is a viable backup who can spot start. I'm talking Matt Moore-esque, which it's so funny to say that we want a Matt Moore because I know Dolphin fans hate Matt Moore because he got us out of Andrew Luck. But like the reality is if Quinn Ewers can show us enough, cool. We bring him in to 26. He has 3 years left on his contract. It's cheap. We're not having to spend a boatload of money. That to me, the where we're at now is we are evaluating this draft class, the 3D tackles with Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, and Zeke Biggers. We want to see Dante Trader Jr. do something, especially if Minka doesn't play again. We want to see what Quinn Ewers has, and maybe a little touch of Ollie Gordon. So for where we're at now is I want to see what we do in Foxborough with absolutely nothing to like. We have nothing to lose. Yeah, if we win, we drop down in draft order. If we lose, we go up in draft order. But we have absolutely, quote unquote, nothing to play for. It's a statement if you go into Foxborough where they have everything to lose because they're going for the number one overall in the conference. If we go into Foxborough win, we beat a playoff team who's a Super Bowl contender in their house in the cold weather. That's going to show us something. Is it enough to keep Mike McDaniel's job? I believe so if they win.
Yeah.
But for me, everything's evaluation, including how does Mike McDaniel respond after winning a game against the Bucs that no one thought they were going to win.
No, I agree. And just to touch on that a little bit more, right? And this is a hot take for me here. There's not many hot takes that I'm going to provide, but this is one, right? So you got the Houston Texans. They started off bad. They weren't looking very good. CJ Stroud goes out, and the importance of the backup quarterback
Mm.
with Mills. He comes in, rallies the troops. They start winning. CJ Stroud comes back, keeps this thing going. They're going into the playoffs. My hot take is these guys, they could win the AFC. That's
Yeah.
my opinion, right?
Yeah.
So it is of importance to have a backup quarterback where if you have that season as a Miami Dolphin fan, where you say this could be the season like it was in 2023, and God forbid, like Tua got hurt, we have our next quarterback and he gets hurt, you want to have that backup, right? Where you don't miss a beat. He's going to give you those wins. And
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers at the end of the season, he's doing it to your point against teams that have something to play for.
Mm.
That first game, it felt like it was a Tua offense. Let's throw out Ewers out there, probably his first week, getting those first reps,
Yep.
and then let's adjust to his strengths.
Okay.
At the time, I didn't see it. I just thought, man, that was just bad. But then week two, you get a little bit of a different look. It's more tailored to Quinn Ewers, and he looks like a different quarterback. He looks more than a serviceable quarterback. He
Yeah.
looks like somebody where if he's not your number one, he can fill in for that number one spot and get you some of those wins that we needed back in that 23 season. So if we're able to beat the Patriots, I'm going to be very happy. To me, beating
Oh
the
yeah.
Patriots when they had Tom Brady, that was my Super Bowl back in the day. AJ
Yeah.
Feeney, that comeback.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, so I'm always excited about that, but it'll be interesting to see if how he looks, right? Not just getting the win, but how he looks. If is it more of the same of that Quinn Ewers that we got against the Buccaneers, which, they have a very good defense with Todd Bowles over there. They're no slouch of a team. I know they're
Yep.
struggling right now, but they're fighting for a playoff spot, like you
Yep.
said. And right now, any other team in our spot, they're probably going through the motion. So I'm excited to see this week what
Yeah.
happens.
I mean, I think you hit the hammer on the nail. I mean, there's there's quarterbacks, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators that still talk about a Todd Bowles defense. He's going to have his guys ready. He streaks, or he puts fear into other people's game plans. So I think you're right. I mean, I understand the Bucks are raveling, and there's injury riddled, and they're going through all these things. But a win is a win is a win is a win, right? So I'm excited for it. I think that Quinn can show us a lot. Again, in no way, shape, or form am I saying, even if Quinn goes out there, he goes 32 of 34 for 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and a win. I'm still not going to declare him. You don't get a quarterback. I said this after the Tua extension, and he got hurt. He comes back, plays really well those next, I think it was like 6 or 7 games in 24. I was still, and I'm, you know this, I'm a Jackson Dart guy, so I was still wanting Jackson Dart. I've been saying for a while, no matter what we get from Tua, this was before obviously the huge decline. No matter what we get from Tua, we've got to protect ourselves and draft a quarterback early enough. So by early enough, I mean in the first 2 days. I still stand by that. Again, this is a quote unquote weaker draft. You know my infatuation for Fernando Mendoza, so I know we're gonna have no shot at him. You mentioned teams kind of falling asleep at the wheel now. We know what the Raiders-Chiefs game is about to look like. The Raiders are definitely going to secure it. If Dante Moore keeps playing as well as he is, I think he's going to declare, and it's going to be the battle for those two. With this being a quote-unquote weaker class, maybe you're not getting a guy on day 2, but on day 3, you know the guys, and I know we'll talk about this in the mock, but you know I'm a Taylor Green guy. I like him a lot as far as the tools that he has. I know you're not as big of a fan of this guy, but I still see something in Drew Aller. I don't know what it is. It's a weird thing for me because he doesn't check mark boxes that I typically go for from an accuracy perspective, but there's just something there. And I'm not a comparison guy. I hate doing player comps. Everyone said he was Josh Allen. He's not Josh Allen. We're not going to get a Josh Allen, but just a developmental guy. But I'm in that camp where no matter what we see from Quinn, we're still attacking quarterback. And we'll talk about it during the mock, but I'm excited. But my last question before we dive into our mock, because I know it's going to take some time, is how do we fan Juan this last week, being this upcoming Sunday, and then going into the offseason? How do we fan? We obviously have a GM search going, and I know you and we talked about it, Troy Aikman getting brought in as a consultant. I love it because that's someone that's outside of the Dolphins organization. It also makes me feel better because it means that they're not just going to give Champ Kelly the interim to permanent tag. It also means that they're not set on Mike McDaniel. That GM isn't going to be cornholed into, well, if you can, or pigeonholed into, you have to work around Mike. They want the best situation. So obviously a new GM, potentially a new head coach, and a lot of turnover. We're going to obviously see Tyreek's contract probably get let go of because of the money that's owed. Bradley Chubb is another one. Tua is obviously one. So it's going to be a new look. But how do we fan Juan for Week 18 and then the whole offseason?
Yeah, that's something, Chad, and I'm going to be honest with you, right? Me and you talk, and you always mention always root for wins.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, wins come in more than that W or the L in the column, right? It's finding those players that, and you touched on this, so I want to give you credit. Who's going to help us win in the future, right? So that's really what I'm looking for. Who's not giving up? From what I saw this last week, everybody was bought in. I think that says a lot about Mike McDaniels as a coach, right?
Yep.
Regardless if he's the guy or not, I think that at the very least, he'll get a job somewhere as an offensive coordinator. So props to him for that, to have these guys playing, still giving us something to cheer for. I still think if we win or if we lose, you know, will I get that satisfaction if we win? Absolutely, because it's the Patriots, right? I could tell you, man, I want that draft pick, but as soon as I turn that TV on and I see that Patriot logo and I have those flashbacks of Tom Brady and those years of dominance, I want to beat him. I want to beat him, and I celebrate that. So I say that to say this. Right now, I feel, but as soon as Sunday comes around and I see those guys playing for that number 1 seed, and I know that we could destroy that for them, that's what I'm going to be rooting for. more so than that, aside from being a party wrecker, I want to see us individually get better. I want to see where Quinn Ewers is if he is that serviceable backup at minimum. He could still be a
Yep.
starter,
Yep.
but can he be that guy, that our Mills, where if he's not the starter, we could plug him in and still get some wins from him.
Yeah. No, you know me, and you kind of said it. I'm a win at all cost guy. I will I will say this. It's the only time in my life where I wasn't upset with wins. I shouldn't say that. I wasn't upset with losses. The suck for luck. Andrew Luck to this day is the quarterback that I, in a completely straight way, loved and had a crush on was Andrew Luck. And I just, when we lost, I was upset, but I wasn't angry. And I was like, okay, we got it. And I promised myself after that, like, never again. Right? These players, their careers are short. Us as fans, I don't know, dude. I don't know what tomorrow looks like. I have the moment. You and I are both believers. Like, literally, biblically, it says, "Don't worry about tomorrow because there's enough worries in the day." Right? So, like, for me, I look at this as we win because it's a pride and it's a culture thing. Right? Devon Achane, the player that you and I both believe is a building block, we want to win for him. Jordan Brooks, Aaron Brewer, players that are putting their bodies on the line, we want to win for them. If Minka Fitzpatrick is able to suit up, we want to win for him. Patrick Paul as a left tackle that I was so wrong about, that I'm so happy I was wrong about, we want to win for him. We want to win for these guys that are putting it out on the line, and it's a thing that carries over into the next season. Ride on a 2-game win streak against 2 playoff teams, especially the Bucks win against Carolina, because they're playing the Panthers in Tampa. If they win, that's a playoff team. So that means we beat a playoff team. We already beat the Bills. That's a playoff team. Then if we beat the Patriots, that's another playoff. So we can say on our resume, we beat 3 playoff teams and we beat 2 in a row when we had nothing to play for. That's something you can build off, and that's an attitude. That's a mentality. Jarvis Landry said it on a Hard Knocks episode. He said, "You just gotta you gotta want it, bruh." He's like, you gotta want it, and that mentality that carries so much weight that I don't think we put enough stock into. So I agree. I want to see individual performances. I know Jalen Waddle got nicked up, and we only got to see 12 snaps, I believe. So he needs 90 yards to get to 1,000. I'd love to see him get there. Devon Achane didn't practice today, but I'm hopeful that he's able to play, because anytime we get to see 28 tooth the rock, dude, it's so much fun. But again, the big thing for Quinn Ewers, want to see Kenneth Grant build off of his best game from last year. So yeah, man, I'm excited. If we win, I believe we'll be at picking as low as like 14 or 13. If we lose, we can pick as high as 8. Like, yeah, and I told you this. It's not who you pick, or it's not where you pick, it's who you pick. And with where we're at, and we'll talk about it in the mock here in a second, you're talking, it's not outlandish to take a Francis Maui-Noah, a Spencer Fano, Sonny Styles, a Jordan Tyson if he falls because of injuries. Like, those are players that are going to be in that middle tier where the heart of this draft is going to be. So I'm excited for it, man.
I want to say something, Chad, to something that you said, right? Carry over those wins to next season. To somebody listening to us right now, the emotions might be different depending on when you listen to what we have to say.
Yeah.
Today is Thursday, right? Somebody can listen to us on Monday. For all we know, we lose to the Patriots. And they're listening to this saying, well, the carryover, what carryover? It's year 4. Well, wait a second. It is year 4, but Tua is no longer the quarterback,
Ooh,
right? And every
yeah.
player that you mentioned that you want to see get better, we have under contract for next season.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not feel like this is a new team, but it kind of is. I know
Yeah.
it's year 4 for Mike McDaniels, but he was tied in with Tua. Now
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of creating his own thing. And so far, within the first 2 weeks, obviously we saw what we saw with the Bengals, but we touched on it. He adjusted. We got a
Yep.
playoff team with a lot to play for in the Bucks. We handled business. If we do the same thing with the Patriots, I'm now saying, okay, should I look at this full scope, the full 4 years? Well, let's look at it from a new perspective. Without Tua, he's the third string quarterback. I know Tua hasn't been there before, but he kind of has. He was hurt, so you knew
Mhm.
he was going to come back. Now you know he's not going to come back.
Oof.
There's a different feeling in that room. So to me, I share that same opinion that you share. These games, depending on the outcome, can carry over into next season. So I do see it very important as you do.
How beautifully put, my friend. Yeah, I agree with what he said. Yeah, that was perfect. That was perfect. Are we gonna jump into some mock draft here?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's
All right,
go.
let me go ahead and share my screen here.
Now I have to ask you. I've done it, and you and I have talked about it. We've done tons and tons and tons and tons of mock drafts. Lately, I've been on the I'm not going to do any trade backs only because I want to be with where we're at right now because we don't know what trade value looks like. So, are we going to do this without trades? Or are we doing this with trades?
I say let's do it without trades.
Okay.
Um, let's work with what we got. If it
Okay.
changes depending on what happens at draft day,
Yep.
well, we can't revisit it then, but it
Yeah.
is what it is, right?
And
So
one of many. Can you zoom in on this, or is that as close as it'll go?
let me see here. Actually, let me do this. Let me stop sharing, and I'm going to reopen this.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. It's looking a little bit wonky right now.
Hey, I see what you did there. For those that don't know, Juan's nickname is Wonky. So, little play on words there. I like it. Oh,
Okay.
much better.
Much
Much better.
better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so it has us at 11. Now, let's talk through this. Are we doing one or are we doing two?
So here's what I want to do, right? Because to anybody listening, I play football. I consider myself a football junkie, but there's a very different thing when you have somebody like what we have with you, Chad, where you analyze these players, right? You take notes, you know what you're talking about. So I want to come in and just give you that eye test, right? From what I'm
Okay.
seeing with the eye test, and then you could come in and say, okay, well, here are the notes. This is what we've seen. This is what I've
Yep.
analyzed. This is why I like this guy.
I
And
like it.
we could go with two picks, right? Like, hey, we're gonna
Yeah.
pick this guy, but this is 1A, 1B.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I will say this. To Juan's point, yeah, being a Dolphins fan my entire life has made me a draft guy. I actually wanted to be an NFL GM. I went to the scouting combine back in 2012. I write draft reports. Kind of an analytics nerd guy too. So I don't use analytics per se, but I have it in my back pocket. I'm all about the eye in the sky doesn't lie. So I'm a big, big tape guy. And we're not talking highlights, guys. We're talking game film, all 22. Yeah, Juan's giving me far too much credit. I appreciate the love, but no, definitely excited. So yeah, you go ahead and tell me who you're looking at. We'll talk through it. I think we're doing 5 rounds, right?
Yeah, we'll go five
Cool.
rounds, and then if
Cool.
we want to go ahead and reset it, we can. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, let's do this. So,
I
I mean,
say.
just looking at the board right now, there's some names that are really popping for me here.
Okay.
So, I know how you feel about Peter Woods. You told me,
Yeah.
Juan, look at the video. I did. I feel for the guy. I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like that Clemson defense has taken 10 steps back. I
Yeah.
mean, they're getting worse without Venables. I still think a guy his size is going to
Mhm.
produce in the NFL, but I'm not gonna use a first round pick on him.
Yeah.
His technique needs to be refined. They're putting him in
Hmm.
the edge.
Yep.
They're putting him in the middle, and he keeps falling down. Somebody his size,
Hmm.
just put him in the defensive tackle position
Yep.
and just let the man eat, right? But
I agree.
we
Yeah.
need the best person in this
Yeah. No.
with this selection.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I said this early on with Peter Woods. I think it was a lot more name than it was production from what I saw. He would get out leveraged, didn't like his hand placement. I would see him get buried in a few different areas. Like you said, when they kind of try to kick him out to be on the edge where he's falling down because of his leverage, his first step. It's not necessarily a player that I'm in love with. And plus, with the investment we made with signing Zach Sealer to an extension, which was deserved, and love to see our boy Sack Sealer come alive the last 5 games. And then the investment in Kenneth Grant, Jordan Phillips, and Zeke Biggers, it just wasn't a need for me. So yeah, you and I are on the same page.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'm going to go to the two players I like the most,
Okay.
right? And I'm going to go right to the U
Love
with
it.
Francis Mainoa. Our
Love it.
offensive line, they ranked they ranked well. They did good, surprisingly. I
Mm-hmm.
went back to the analytics and I saw they were doing great. But you want to solidify that, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
you could keep getting better with that, then I believe my thought process is just from when I played football and from what I know from the game. The trenches reflect the attitude of the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the team. This kid
Yep.
is a leader. He was there when Miami wasn't good, and
Mm.
now they're in the semifinal. You want somebody
Come on.
like that on your team. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my 1A guy. My
Yeah.
1B guy would be Jamard McCoy. That's my guy. I know he didn't play this year. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. I think
You're right.
Singletary as well didn't play his last season. I'm not sure if senior junior season, but he didn't play. Went to the draft and he is falling out right now. So
Correct.
you're hoping more for of the same if you get somebody like McCoy. We could use that outside corner help,
Mm-hmm.
but just looking, and I'm not even scrolling here. Well, actually, I see another name that I like. Let me throw this name out there. And I'm not going to go into too much
Yeah.
detail, but I just want to give it back to you because I'm hogging the floor here. But
I love it.
David Bailey,
Okay.
that's a name that I really like. But I'll
Yeah.
let you have your input here.
Yeah, you know how I feel about Francis Mainoa. You and audience, you'll learn this. Both Juan and I are diehard Miami Hurricanes fans too. So we are on cloud nine that our Hurricanes are in the semis. Both of us will be at the game. To my knowledge, Juan is going to fly out here to Arizona, so we'll see it happen. But yeah, when he stuck with us after going 5-7 from IMG, that was the kind of culture mover leader we needed. You talked about our offensive line. It's a sticky point for the Dolphins community because that's always been a weakness for us. Analytics say that we're much better. Austin Jackson has a lot to do with that. I hated the Austin Jackson pick. I wanted us to trade up and get Tristan Wirfs, but the 49ers jumped in front of us to take him. Or not the 49ers, the Bucks did. They traded with the 49ers. But if we want to talk about injuries and availability, Austin Jackson's missed more games than Tua has. We restructured his contract, so we're stuck with him next year, but our whole offensive line can't go to shambles because of one player. We have Patrick Paul, who will be going into year 3. We have Jonas Savaiinaia, who will be going into year 2. We have Aaron Brewer under contract. I'm hoping we give him an extension because I don't think he's going to be satisfied playing on his $7 million deal next year. So we want to get that. What I love about Francis Mainoa is he has guard tackle flexibility. So I don't know if you remember, but when we drafted Laramie Tunsil and we told Brandon Albert that, hey, we're signing him, we're doing that, we put him at left guard. And then when that changed, we transitioned Laramie Tunsil over to left tackle. I think what this case would be is we have 1 year left of Austin Jackson. We draft Francis Mainoa. We put him at right guard to start. A lot of draft guys think that he's going to be a guard. I think he can be a Pro Bowl guard, but he's a tackle. He's dominant. He
Yeah.
showed it. Jordan Reed said this yesterday. He said, Francis Mainoa is so boring at right tackle, and that's a good thing because you don't hear his name. And I love him. Like you said, he stuck with the U when we were down. He's a guy that wants to change the program. He's a leadership guy. He's exactly what you want. And I'm tired of watching Hurricane players go elsewhere and ball out. I'm talking about you, Cam Kitchens, going to the Rams and balling out. We need to start keeping our guys home. So Francis Mainoa is a no-brainer for me. We put him in at right guard to start. Once Austin Jackson inevitably gets hurt, kick him out to right tackle, and then we can get out of Austin's contract, cut him, and then now we have the right tackle position taken care of. You mentioned Gerard McCoy. You're right. Derek Stingley Jr. was actually my favorite corner to literally scout since Patrick Peterson. I loved him. You're right. He did not play. I don't see Gerard McCoy in that same lens. I actually would have wanted Mansour Delaney, but he was taking the pick before. So I don't hate that idea, especially if we're not bringing back Jack Jones or Rasul Douglas, which I would bring at minimum one of them back. And you mentioned David Bailey. The explosive step is crazy. The get off, the energy, the levers, the way he plays. The scary part about David Bailey, and he's a very different player, but now you'd have two undersized edges with Chop Robinson and David Bailey. In a class and in a team where you and I both agree the trenches matter the most, I'm looking at day 2 or day 3 for my edge because I want size. If we're looking at this, my 1B off of this list is Spencer Fano because I really want to solidify the trenches. My 2 player on this is Sonny Styles. I know you and I have talked a lot about him. I think he's an absolute stud. You put a player like that next to Jordan Brooks and watch him eat. We watched him several times yesterday. Him and Caleb Downs making plays in the backfield, the ability to run with tight ends, the ability to read his keys and blitz in the A and the B gaps. Again, we're talking length, a former safety that converted to linebacker. This is only his first year as a full-time linebacker, and look at what we're getting to see. So I love it. And the one player I want to throw at you because I like him a lot is Mekhi Lemon. Huge fan of him. He's undersized. He's not your 6'2" X receiver, 6'3" X receiver. I know we want size, but he plays much bigger than he is. I'm I have an affinity for USC receivers. I think I sent you my Amon-Ra St. Brown draft report where I put he'd be a first rounder if he played for Bama or Ohio State or any of those. So that's another guy, sure-handed. He's not going to burn you. He's not a 4-2, 4-3 guy. He runs a full route tree. He's not afraid to put his face in there and block at the next level. So a big fan of his, but I think you and I are locked into Francis Mariano all the way.
Let's do it. Let's go with Francis. I like it.
Yeah, solidify the trenches, baby.
And of course, I only did 1 round, but that's okay. I could fix it.
Yeah.
Let me go back here, go 5.
Let's hope he's still available.
And if not, we'll just say that.
Yeah, it's Francis.
We picked him. Yeah. And he is still available. Okay,
love it.
Perfect.
So we got the trenches on offense taken care of. We're not doing trades, everybody, so that's why we're rejecting a second-round pick. That's why we're rejecting. All right, so who sticks out when you look at this list as of right now?
Right, so I want to go over the list, but, I'm watching the college football playoffs, and I feel like players are going to outplay their ranking on this board, right? And we talked about this.
Yep.
So a name, and we talked about it, Keontae Scott, the nickel corner. So listen, we are UM fans, but very unbiased. The best player is who we want. And I do feel like for the first 4 rounds, you could go with the best player, not just plugging players to fill in a need, but just going good players and having starting caliber players within the first 4 rounds in this draft. That's really where I want to go. And I do feel this highly with Keontae Scott. When you play a nickel defense and you put another corner out there as that linebacker hybrid, you're giving something away, right? You're giving that big body to stop the run. With Keontae Scott, you're not really taking anything away from the defense when you're putting somebody like that out there. He's almost like a linebacker. He's almost like an edge and the corner all in one. I saw this guy setting an edge and making a tackle, and I'm thinking to myself, who's this defensive end? And I look at the name in the back of the jersey, and it's Keontae Scott. Having somebody like that, he's such a surefire guy, just on those outside runs. I do think that he is going to go in the second round, and that is one name, without looking at the names here that I'm seeing, that I would want us to get. Another name, let me see, because he's not popping up, so maybe they drafted him, and they did. AJ Halsey.
Yep, from LSU.
He's not here. Yeah, I'm very big on Halsey, but he's not here. So let me just go down this list here. Let me see who I see. Okay. All right, here are 2 names. Elijah Surratt. I can't take credit for this, guys. I mean, Chad told me, look at the video, Juan. Look at the tape. It does not lie. I look at the tape, and I see this guy, and I'm just like, wow, this guy, dude, this is how many touchdowns did he have today, Chad? Did he have two touchdowns? I know he had one
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I believe it was two, man. He's
It
a
was,
freaking stud.
man, listen, a receiver like that, we have our speedsters. Who knows what will happen next season? I don't know if we're going to keep Tyreek, but if we do, if you have a Tyreek, a Jalen Waddle, a Darren Waller, I think he's going to come back as well.
Yep.
With an Elijah Surratt and a Devon Achane,
Mm.
that's a sick, sick offense right there. So I would say that's another name, and then somebody that I'm big on that I think is going to have a great NFL career. And again, I can't go over as
Hmm.
eloquently as you can go over some of these players, but it's just kind of the eye test for me from what I've seen is
Yeah.
D'Angelo Pons,
Hmm.
right? I don't know if I
Yep.
would go second round for him. I would hope that he's there in the third round, and if he is, that's who I want.
Yeah.
But we're seeing this here now. If Elijah's not there and Keontae's not there, D'Angelo Pons, that's somebody that I would want to select.
I love it, man. I love it. Obviously, I mean, again, I won't take too much time. You know my infinity for Elijah Surratt. You're talking size, production. He's done it everywhere. I mean, dude, he's a 4-year guy. He transferred over to Indiana. He had 1,000-yard receiving years in his prior two stops. Um, Route runner, contested balls. He's not going to, again, not a receiver that's not going to blow by you, but he's going to hands catch. He's going to block. Love his route tree. He's not afraid to go across the middle. The dude is nails. I know he missed some games this year, but he's just a touchdown machine. And I truly believe he's going to go in the first 2 rounds. I don't think, I think before the year started, we had a chance on day 3 easily, but I think at minimum, he's a high third rounder. He's going to go day 2 regardless, but I think he'll end up in the second round. That name that I like, because you talked about D'Angelo Ponce. The reason I believe he's going to go later is his size. If you
Yeah.
scroll down, click on his name, you're going to be able to see his stature, and this is what's going to turn teams off. So 5'9", 170, and that might be generous, but the dude is an absolute missile. Don't think of it as Buda Baker because Buda Baker is different, and so is the Honey Badger. But D'Angelo Ponce has that I'm 6'2", 250-pound mentality, and a 5'9", which again that's giving him inches, 170 giving him pounds body. Is absolutely not afraid to attack the ball. He's incredibly his football IQ is off the charts, and it's so fitting for a Cignetti team that he just makes plays. He was flying around all over today. You can go ahead and close that. You and I both agree is on Keontae Scott. I think right now we still are in a situation where he's a third rounder. I think that the nickel position is just not flattering enough for teams. I mean, we're watching with like Cooper DeJean. Loved him coming out of Iowa. There's no reason that man shouldn't have been a first-round pick. He goes in the second round, of course, with Howie because Howie's Howie. And he's one of the best defensive backs in football right now. It's because he wasn't an outside guy. He's a nickel guy, played some safety. He can kind of play outside, which they're putting him out there. So I think we'd be safe right now with Keontae Scott where we can take him in the third. The other name I want to say is scroll up. We're going to go back to my USC infatuation. So keep going. Right there, Kamari Ramsey. Length, ball production. He's a player that when you turn on the tape, you just notice him. He's flying around. He's a true deep middle guy. You see him in cover 2. You see him in cover 3. You see him come down in the slot. Has a lot of range. Isn't afraid to put himself out there and make a tackle. He's a player that as I watch film, and again, I'm going to break it down even more on this channel where we go through it, but he's a player that I have earmarked that I think is someone that could really help us. I think as of right now, from a positional standpoint, I said it earlier, I don't think we're going to keep Tyreek, and I think that we need to bring some size into the room. So if you're okay with it, I'm completely fine taking Elijah Surratt right here.
Yeah, I'm game. I'm
Yeah, let's
game.
do it.
Let's go ahead and select him. All right. There's a safety that I like, but we could hopefully he's there in the third
Yeah.
round. I want to talk about him, but only if he's available.
Okay. Why don't you click on the safety then on defense? Yep. Let's see.
There you go.
Okay.
Jalen Kilgore. So I know he played for South Carolina. The
Specimen.
kid, he is, right? And you want to provide something different. I thought we did a very good job doing having those takeaways that we had with the fumbles, but we
Yep.
weren't getting those interceptions as
Mhm.
we did in previous years when we had Xavier Howard.
Yep. Yeah.
It's with somebody like Kilgore, I really like what he provides. He is a ball hawk.
Yep.
So I like the kid. I know they have him a little bit lower than Farrell and Hubbard. That's my guy
Yep.
in the safety position. If it's not AJ Halsey, of course, this is the guy
Yep.
that I would want.
No
It's
Jacoby
the
Thomas?
Jacoby Thomas, absolutely. I just feel like he could go four for fifth round. Do you think he
Agree.
played his way up to the third round?
I don't. I don't. I think
No.
he's a I think I love him. I think he has the mentality. They say with safeties you want a little bit of a screw loose for a strong safety, and
Yeah.
there's something that's not there, and I like it. He has that reckless mentality. We may only get. Do you remember Taylor Mays for USC?
Yeah, absolutely.
Reckless abandonment. We may only get 4 to 5 years because the way that man puts his body on the line, but I think he's a guy that we could get on day 3. Where again we're keeping him at the crib. I do also agree. There's a lot of mocks where it took Kilgore. I love the size, love the ball hawking ability, love what he's able to do. I also I think it's Bray Hubbard from Alabama, another size guy, another height, weight, speed guy. I think what you and I are doing is a lot of what we're watching Mario Cristobal do is where we're trying to be the off the bus team. Like you see them, they're like those are NFL guys, and I think that's what we're doing. Yeah, just I had to put that. But who else are you thinking, brother?
Yeah, no, and I like Thomas. That game, he went against Carnell Tate, where Carnell Tate had those alligator arms. He did not
Yeah,
want that smoke. And when you have
none of
somebody
it.
like that with a loose screw,
Yeah,
it helps sets the tone on defense. So
it's
yeah,
contagious.
that's a good name.
Yeah.
Let's scroll down a little bit and see what other names we could find.
So just to recap as one, scrolling. So we fortified the trenches, getting Francis Noah gives us tackle guard flexibility. And then we went and added size to our receiving room for whoever is going to be throwing them the ball with Elijah Surratt in round 2. And now we're on round 3 deciding what's going to be best for us.
Okay, so let's go to the cornerback position.
Okay.
I'm just gonna if he's
Yep.
there, you just take him at this point. I go with Keontae Scott, and I live with
Mm-hmm.
that pick. That is my guy. I don't. We're gonna have
Yep.
another 2 picks in the
Yep.
third round, but if he's there right now, that is the guy that I would
You,
go for.
You're not that. This is so. He's so low right now, and that's going to change drastically because he's going to continue to perform. Like you said, he's an absolute specimen. One of my favorite evaluators. Oh, 2 of my favorite evaluators. I have this joke with Matt Miller. I'm like, I'm not Matt Miller. Matt Miller is not I. We just love the same players. And Louis Riddick as well. We both are huge, huge, huge Keontae Scott guys. He has size, everything that you said. He tracks the ball well. We watched the freaking pick 6 that changed the entire game. He's not afraid to stick his nose in the dirt and literally make plays and run support. So yeah, take Keontae Scott. We're not going to even think twice about it.
Awesome. I like it.
All right. So now what I would like you to do, let's go to that edge position. Because we obviously don't have Jalen Phillips after trading him. We know Bradley Chubb is potentially on the way out. So there's 2 names that stick out to me. Now, again, if we're looking at athletic ability, if we're looking at explosiveness, Joshua Josephs is there. But I want you to click on Zion Young so you can see, again, that profile. So we're talking length, we're talking size. Again, I haven't done enough on Zion Young to give a proper breakdown, but in all my mocks, he's always flirting there because I do like the size. I believe that in the NFL, put on another 10 to 15 pounds and he can anchor well. So that's one's exciting me. I know people um, probably have a fear with an edge from Missouri for us, but they're very different players, I promise. And then if you close that one and click on Danny Dennis Sutton, another size player where we're looking at future potential, like we're looking into future. Now, again, he's not going to be Micah Parsons. He's not going to be Abdul Carter, but it's another player from a Penn State program that has developed edges and has been able to produce at the next level. So it's another player that I like personally. Have you been able to have a chance to look at any of these guys or no?
There's one name that sticks out to me.
Okay.
He's also from Missouri. To your point, I know we have this thing, but
Charles
Damon
Harris, man.
Wilson,
Okay.
I like the kid's game. I saw his tape. It
Okay.
wasn't enough tape where I could say, yeah, this is the guy. But the tape that I saw, if somebody like him is around the third or fourth round, and you can't get somebody like Akeem Mesidor, and I know
Oof.
I sound like a Miami Hurricane homer right now, but this is the name to me where I saw that guy getting after the quarterback, and
Mm-hmm.
he's good against the run game as well. So
Yep. I,
I really like him.
You guys, we're not. I promise we're not Canes homers. We take off our Canes draft lens. Akeem's biggest issue because people are like, well, he's so explosive. Why is he not going to the first round? He's 25 years old. Like
Yeah.
he's an older prospect. So after his rookie contract, he's going to be going into his second contract at 29 years old. So that's why people have to understand, like, well, why is he not going higher? I bet if you scroll down, is he still there or is he gone? Akeem.
So he's actually over here going to the
Oh,
Chargers
just
at
before us.
87.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other position I'd like us to look at, if you go to offense, go to tight end. I love what we have in Greg Dulcich, but he's a free agent. And unless Mike is coming back, we'll see what Darren Waller has. Now, if we're going with pure catch radius, ball skills, you have Justin Jolly, who's an absolute dynamite. And then you have Eli Stowers, who both of those players from Vanderbilt are, if you're looking for the guy that's going to be your joker, move tight end, not provide too much in the run game, those are your two guys. If you're looking for a well-rounded tight end, Eli Raridon from Notre Dame, click on that profile. Wait till you see the size of this guy. Yeah. His write-up is probably going to say something along the lines of can do both catching the ball, is a good blocker, he's really good in the open field. Again, it's just we didn't get to see it all the way, especially in week one because CJ Carl's his first game. But this is a player that if he's there in or on round 3, I would be on the rooftop jumping for. I think he can provide a lot for us.
I'm going to refer to you, Chad. Honestly, I didn't look at any tight ends,
Okay.
but it's interesting just looking at this player's profile here, the size, his weight, what we're trying to do here on offense. That's somebody with a Devon Achane, if he could get outside and block for him, that's big right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I say we roll with it.
You want to get Eli? Let's
do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
So we've
Awesome.
fortified the trenches. We've added size in the trenches. We in round 2, we went with Elijah Surratt, added size to that room. We also went with our guy Keontae Scott in the secondary in round 3. And then we just added more size and more multi-position flexibility with tight end in our second pick in round 3. So I'm going to defer to you for the third pick in round 3, which is such a beautiful thing having all these draft picks. And if we do keep Anthony Weaver and he happens to get a job, we'll add another third rounder this year and next year. So that's exciting.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to go back to the player I told you earlier. I'm going to go with Kilgore.
Okay.
Because you want to get some interceptions, right? You
Yep.
want that defensive back that could get that pick 6 for you or change the momentum of the game. And I do think he's that guy. He didn't have that type of season this year, which is very weird because South Carolina balled out last year. I don't know what happened with them. It's
Whole
very weird.
program.
They had a lot of talent, and it just didn't come together. But I like what I see with him, Chad, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna go with Kilgore.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it. Yeah.
awesome. All right. And we are in round four.
So what I would say here is let's look at the edge room again and see what's provided there. Let's see if my boy from Penn State is still there.
Hey,
Bam. I like it. I mean, again, you guys heard me say it earlier. We need to provide edge depth because then we're not. If not, we have Chop Robinson. Um, I don't even know if we're gonna have Quentin Bell back, and then we're just gonna have a bunch of different players that aren't there. So if it's me, I want to fortify the edge room, add more bodies to it, and again, I like Danny Dennis Sutton a lot. So
oh, Chad, let me just look something up. You
yeah,
remember I showed you that mock draft I did way too early in the season. It's a
yeah,
habit. I can't help it.
I
I
love it.
had Jacob Rodriguez seventh round. He's only gotten better. I think he's played himself into a third or fourth round linebacker. I just want to
Texas
see if
Tech.
he's there, and he is.
Hey, I
He
will,
is. But
brother. I know that's your guy. No, hey, I know that's your
I,
guy. Hello, Mister Fifth. Could have been in the Heisman ceremony. I'm down for it.
you sure you're good
Yeah.
with it?
Anytime we can increase our linebacker room with having a Jordan Brooks, he needs a Robin. So yeah, if you believe in Jacob Rodriguez like that, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go.
Awesome. And then I think we're down. Yeah, our last pick. Let's go back to the edge
Oh,
room.
wait a second, sir.
Oh,
Wait a second,
you saw
sir.
something that you like?
I think that second name there, biased aside, looks very, very enticing with what we're trying to create on offense. You know, what we're trying to build here is we're trying to build an infrastructure for the next quarterback, whether that's Quinn or somebody else. What better way than to provide a dynamite tight end, a big bodied receiver who has production in Elijah Surratt, and then that certain someone with pick, and that's second right there, who happens to be a part of that 305 team. But we watched Ohio State trigger Malachi Tony, and there was a certain somebody that just happened to deliver. So, what are your thoughts on double dipping at receiver here?
So I have a lot to say,
Okay.
but I'm just gonna pick him instead of saying all I have to say because that guy balled out for us,
Paul,
man.
yeah, man. Yeah,
Hey,
man.
if he's there in the fifth round, listen, I'm
That,
getting him. He is that guy where you could just throw it up. That one-hander in the beginning of the season against Notre Dame, that is one of the best catches that I've seen. And you've seen receivers make plays like that, but
yep.
he laid it all on the line because that safety was right behind him. He didn't have
Mm-hmm.
the out of bounds where he had that as a protection. No, he was getting hunted. The guy didn't go for the hit. But as a receiver, you get those alligator arms going up back like that, almost in the middle of the field. For him to come
Yeah.
down with that play, you want somebody like that. I know he's been hurt, but this is very
Yeah.
good value if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
One on one in the red zone, just throw
Come
it
on.
up, and CJ Daniels will come down with it. So I like that pick a lot.
Yeah. Hey man, quite the shift from what we've been used to with the they call them the Smurfs with speed, right? Um, we're trying to build a basketball team here, right? You have a size on the perimeter, you have size in the middle, you have Devon Achane in the backfield. I mean, again, you know I'm a CJ Daniels guy. I love him. I remember when we literally picked him out of the portal and I was doing backflips because of the type of player he is. He's a competitor. Again, we're talking about tone changers. We're talking about keeping it Miami, keeping it 305. There's something to be said about turning around a program and getting three guys from that university to stay at home and to then put it on for the Dolphins. I think what CJ gives us is he gives us length. He gives us ball production. The lights aren't too bright for him. He's willing again, and I know I sound like a broken record. He's willing to go across the middle. He's willing to do the dirty work. He's willing to put his hands there. A player that, and again, I don't like comps, but a player I comp him to is a player that I'm actually a lot higher on than most people, Juwan Jennings. We finally got to see him in the Super Bowl do his thing, but that's the type of player I think CJ Daniels can be. So I think we cooked, man. I obviously this is a very early mock. I mean, I think by the end of the season and going into the offseason, CJ Daniels is going to be there in round 5. Keontae
I don't.
Scott, yeah, and Keontae Scott, you and I both believe he'll be a second rounder. I think Elijah Surratt will still be a second rounder. I don't think he'll jump into the first because I think he's not going to wow us at the combine. But he's just a productive player. I'm hoping Francis Mauigoa literally doesn't get the Armand Membu or the Will Campbell hype, and he ends up being a top 10 pick, because if we're picking right outside of the top 10, that would be such a bummer. But I like it, man. What a freaking first draft.
Yeah, no, I love it to get somebody like that. CJ Daniels, you got him one-on-one with any corner, going down the sideline. You can't you can't put value on somebody like that and say, hey, man, in the 5th round, you have a starting receiver with a name like his. I would be excited, but it's a mock draft. Who knows if somebody like that would be there? Like you said, it's some of these names, they're going to rise on the draft board. One thing that I did take note of, a lot of the names, with the exception of the tight end and the safety from South Carolina, these players come from a winning program. And it goes
Mm-hmm.
back to Hard Knocks and what Dan Campbell was trying to do over there in Detroit. Get
Yeah.
these players from winning programs to establish that winning mentality, right? And we
Yeah.
we have a winner mentality with some of these guys. I mean, Brooks, didn't he empty out, what was it, the ping pong table in the locker room? Like, let's stop this
Yeah.
nonsense. We're here to play
Yep.
football. This is the job.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you want more players like that representing your organization. And I feel like a draft like this, it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but if we get 2 or 3 of these guys, I'm stoked,
Come,
man.
come on,
I'm
man.
happy.
Come on. I wait again. Co-host of the year over here, man. I mean, again, being a fellow co-host, thank you for allowing me to be in this with you. But man, that Dan Campbell quote of getting winners and winners mentality, which goes back to what we started this show with, which is beat New England, establish a winning culture, and if you don't beat them, make it close,
Yeah.
because that, again, it's contagious. Kenneth Grant came from Michigan, fresh off of a national championship the year prior. That's the mentality, right? Like that's what we're trying to build. Yes, Jordan Phillips came from Maryland, and they weren't winning the way that they should have been winning, and whatnot. Zeke Biggers, I believe he was at Georgia Tech, which again, they give Miami problems, but not enough problems to everyone else. And Schrader Jr., again, coming from Maryland, bringing in a guy like Quinn, who has experience, comes from a winning program, has played on the big stage. I think there is something to be said about players coming from winning programs, like you alluded to. But that was fun, man. I like you and I both said, it's going to change a lot. You're going to see players go up and down, up and down. That will be far from our first mock. We'll have a lot of fun with it, and we'll continue to explain our reasoning behind this, and we'll have reports. And then as I type up reports, I'll show my reports, and then we'll do breakdowns. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. But I'm excited for it, brother.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you, Chad. I'm excited for this week. We'll see what comes with this game over here with the Patriots, but
Yeah.
I'm more excited after the Bucks game than I was after the Bengals game, where
Yeah,
I was not looking forward to the last 2 weeks. So I'm very excited to see where this goes.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, to close that, man, we are Fins Up Talk, Chad and Juan. We're for the fans, by the fans, to the fans. Super pumped to get this thing going. Everybody, go Canes. If we don't talk to you guys before then, we'll see what our Canes can do. And I'm excited about it. And again, obviously, we're going to have a lot to talk about post game after the Patriots game. But love you, big dog. Can't wait to get this thing rolling.
For sure, brother. Love you too. Go
All right.
Fins.
Fins up, baby.